stay with politics now. The race to the ANC's December elective conference is intensifying. More candidates are raising their hands for top leadership positions in the party. The KZN PEC yesterday endorsed NEC member and former Health Minister Dr. Ebrahim Harvey for party president. Mkhize will go head-to-head with President Cyril Ramaphosa, Dr. Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, Lindiwe Sisulu, as well as David Mabuza. What's surprising, though, is that former President Jacob Zuma has announced his availability for the position of national chairperson despite his ill health. Well, to discuss these nominations and more to do with politics in our country, I am joined in studio by political analyst Ebrahim Harvey. Thank you so much, Mr. Harvey, for your time. It's always great to have you on eNCA. Can we just start off by laughing at our politics in South Africa? Can you and I just laugh at where we find ourselves in terms of all, political parties in South Africa? But of course, let's start with, an 81-year-old man who last year was released on parole saying that he is terminally ill. Now, suddenly, through his daughter, saying, I'm standing for chairmanship.
Yeah, no, it's laughable. Well, Gwede Mantashe put it nicely, yesterday. When he used the word, he said it's quite laughable, at 81 years old, for Zuma to be aiming for chair. But it's not just the age.
Yeah.
It's the whole controversy, the corruption charges that he faces, so many other things other than his age, which Mantashe didn't go into. He just said, So I don't think it's to be taken seriously, but neither do I think the intelligence, the political intelligence of the branches should be questioned. I mean, I don't think you're going to get any serious move from the branches and the delegates, supporting Zuma's quest for the chairmanship of the ANC. It's hilarious, really. I don't know, is he losing it or what? How could he seriously, a man with his experience behind him, go and, after all that's happened to him, say that he's available and he's interested in the chairmanship of the ANC. It's ludicrous,
I mean, for him to even say that he's been approached to become chairman, it was also very confusing to me, because then it begs the question for those of us who are just ordinary South Africans and elect that, okay, so this is a party that is okay with putting somebody like former President Jacob Zuma, who has so much controversy around him, back on a leadership position, if he's telling the truth, of course, that he has been approached.
Well, that's the thing. But the thing is, if you read KZN politics properly, he's still a key figure there. And it's very likely that amongst those supporters of his, still fervent, that you might have had a sentiment like that, about supporting him for the chairmanship of the ANC, We don't have the evidence to refute, But for him to have accepted, knowing, with his experience and all the very serious, allegations of corruption facing him, that it's untenable, faced with that situation, to go and express an interest and agree to, those who wanted him to be chair of the ANC.
Absolutely.
It's ludicrous, really. I mean, you can't say more than that. I think he's losing it a bit.
Just lastly, on the former president, we heard last week news that he had told KZN to put forward the name of Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma as the preferred candidate. So can we really say that the RET forces are still so strong in KZN if, they went against that? Clearly, the branches during the BGMs decided, no, we'd rather have the former Minister of Health.
Yes, no, I think clearly there's an ascending momentum around Ebrahim Harvey for the presidency, Very decisive, I think there's a move, certainly in KZN. And I don't think that Dlamini-Zuma, quite honestly, and not to take anything away from her. I don't think, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't really think she would make it in 2017, although it was a narrow defeat that she suffered at the hands of Ramaphosa. But, in politics, one has to be honest, as honest as you possibly can. I think she's got a lot of good qualities, but I'm sorry to say, I don't think she's presidential material. And especially, you need a strong, quite a powerful president to navigate the most choppiest waters and crises that the ANC and the ANC government in particular has ever faced from 1994. And so Perhaps, Zwelin Kize, if you discuss it, him vis-a-vis Dlamini Zuma, then maybe most people would think that he stands a better chance, But we have to wait and see. But he himself, with the digital vibes, controversy, that still dogs him. But KZN is another province. KZN doesn't care a damn.
No, they don't.
Look at Gumedi. I mean, they don't care what. The KZN is almost like a country on its own.
Yeah.
Really, they don't care a damn about what allegations of corruption people are facing. They go, if they support you, which I think is a very serious problem politically, to ignore what's going on. And it's very serious, like Gumedi, those are very serious charges that she's facing. And
they still put it out there. And I mean, I guess it also has to do with how bruised they were after 2017 with, no one in the top 6 being from KZN.
Yes.
And they obviously have always believed that somebody would be from KZN because they are the biggest region.
No, for sure. Zwelin Kize, to be honest with you, despite the controversy dogging him, I don't think, I think to some extent, it's plausible to say that he's top 6 material. Or quality.
So
but I don't think president.
Okay.
And on that score, I must tell you, but despite all the problems Ramaphosa faces, everything, even the Pala Gate scandal, no, I'll really be honest with you, I don't think any of the contending people, who's going to contest against him, if he stands, in December, nothing is not charged. He's gained also a lot of experience of statecraft, Ramaphosa. I don't think, quite honestly, that they stand a very good chance against Ramaphosa in December. None of them, to be very frank with you,
It's going to be quite interesting, especially when you look at the margin when the results are announced after the conference. But let's move on to Nomvula Mokonyane. There was a time when I was having a conversation, just a private conversation with one of my colleagues, when I saw her appearing in the media quite a lot more. She was quiet after the state captured Louis Vuitton money. She was quiet for some time. She was not in the media's eyes a lot. Then suddenly this year, after that rape case, the murder case rather, of that woman from the Eastern Cape whose boyfriend has not been arrested, she started being out in the media. So now it makes sense, right, after KZN announced her as the preferred DSG?
No, you know what? To be honest with you, of all the people who have been nominated, and in fact, the nominations are premature. As Motlanthe has pointed out, what are you doing? The nominations process is properly, constitutionally not opened up.
Yeah.
And people have been nominated, it's a very serious problem. But just look at this, Nomvula Mokonyane, 3 billion rand allegations of, when she was water and sanitation minister. Those are very serious charges. And, there's a lot of palpable evidence also of complicity and involvement on her part, And that's what I'm saying. They don't care a damn about whatever charges you're facing. I think it's one of the most serious problems of ANC culture.
Yeah.
How can you ignore what is happening in society and even legislatively, the charges and, like
and
Gumedi.
And in our faces as the electorate.
In fact, it's an insult. They don't even realize it. It's an insult to their own intelligence and wishes, because you don't want to elect somebody or support somebody who's been heavily tainted with allegations of corruption. Why would you want? But really, the ANC, and it's not just KZN, it seems in other regions too, they don't care too much about whatever charges you're facing.
And you know what their answers will always be. No, there's no evidence against this person, innocent until proven guilty, etc. So I guess that's why the step aside is quite important for the party. But let's move on now to Richard Calland.
Yeah.
Withdrawing yesterday. The last time you spoke to us on the channel, you said that panel that the Speaker had chosen was strong enough. But Calland now even saying in his own statement that he basically cowered to social media pressure about allegations that he would be biased.
Yeah, I must be honest with you. I know Richard Calland. And in fact, let me tell you straight what I thought about it. I agreed with him.
Okay.
You see, there was too much at stake. He's written about, he's got a book out on Ramaphosa, and he has tended to be supportive of him at times, But I didn't think, given what is at stake, and his own reputation, and at UCT, etc., I don't think, and faced with the emerging evidence about what happened on the farm, you know, it's very serious stuff there.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have risked his reputation and, you know, not went with the flow of information and evidence that so much, you know, about what happened on the farm. I don't think he would have contradicted that. I think he is resigned and pulled out now because of the pressure. But I think he would have been good enough for the purpose.
So I guess it's unfortunate then we lose somebody to allegations, I guess, once more.
Yeah.
But let's move to what happened at the 14th National Congress of COSATU this week. You know, yesterday we saw Gwede Mantashe saying he's pulling out. In fact, he's leaving. He doesn't care when they're going to call him to take to the podium, right? Was that, you know, I asked a question yesterday to Prince Mashele if we were seeing an arrogant person or a person who's bruised because clearly the workers are rejecting him and the ANC. But also at the same time, Mr. Ebrahim, you know, that what he said later was quite important when he said the tripartite alliance is basically dying. That could be true?
Well, I think it's very clear, you know, that is what is happening. You can see it is very evident, you know.
Yeah.
And I think the treatment that the ANC is the head of that alliance, the treatment that Mantashe received, you know, and he went back yesterday. And I watched when he was interviewed. He said, you know, I came back and again, I'm leaving and I wasn't. So what a slap in the face again. I thought maybe overnight the delegates would have reconsidered this and thought, you know, to be honest with you, I think they shot themselves in the foot. They made a mistake. It's a tactical blunder. They should have not insisted that Gwede not speak.
Yeah.
They should have allowed him to speak because then they could then put whatever questions as sharply as they wish to him. And it's their Congress. He would have had to answer.
Yeah.
We were robbed of that opportunity. You see, I don't think really, tactically it was wise what they did. But, you know, I know him well, he's very sorely bruised. You know, he's got quite a big ego since, you know, he's an ordinary mine worker, but since he moved into government and so on. I think it would take Gwede Mantashe a long time to recover from what happened, you know, at the COSATU Congress. And it's never happened before at any COSATU Congress that a leading figure, and especially chairman of the ANC, is rebuffed and rejected as Mantashe was. It's unprecedented. And I think it is the most significant indication to date that things are not well in the alliance. And you can see that, in fact, the thrust of the rejection of the ANC as the alliance partner and what they've done in the public sector issue, the reneging, is going to come from COSATU. Yeah. If there's going to be any split, although they're saying if they split, they're going to support the SACP in the future election. Yeah. But,
well, yesterday he said no.
Yeah, but let me tell you, even the president of COSATU, Losi, they are under immense pressure from the bottom.
Yes.
The disgruntlement of the rank and file, that is what the top leaders didn't want that to happen.
It's about time because we don't see any accountability.
Yes, they didn't, that came through. Yeah. They didn't care a damn what the top leaders want. They said, and it's because of what has happened, you know, under ANC rule. You know, they're terribly unhappy, the members and supporters of COSATU, you know, and unfortunately Gwede was at the receiving end, you know.
This time around, because we remember what happened on the 1st of May. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Mr. Harvey. I had so much to talk to you about the city of Joburg, the ESCOM board, but I guess, you know, time is not always on our side. But thank you very much for coming to studio and speaking to us. That was political analyst Dr. Ebrahim Harvey speaking to us there about ANC politics and other things that have to do with the politics generally in our country.